Hello and welcome to Accounting 425. Today we are going to review for the exam. So those of you taking the time to listen, it will pay off. We're basically going to go through a number of the questions and topics today. At any point while you're listening to this session, if you want more time with a slide, hit pause. The nice thing about these live sessions that are recorded is you can play them back as often as you'd like, and you can hit pause to take notes or find information in your book that you want to flag for review. So I strongly recommend and encourage you to do so. The exam will be 50 multiple choice questions over chapters 1 through 3 of your textbook. The exam is electronic, but does require you to either go to your proctor location or to take the exam through ProctorU. If you have not submitted your proctor information, do it today. I cannot do this for you. I cannot help you out after the fact. I don't have access to do that. I'm sorry. Any questions you have, I'm going to have to forward those to the Student Learning Center or the Testing Center. One student was nice enough to share some information with me on how ProctorU works. That is something you can sign up for. There is a fee for that. I believe it's $25, and you do need to have a webcam on your computer. They basically watch you take your exam online. So that is an option. $25 really isn't that much, given gas and whatnot. So I don't know how far you have to drive, but that option is out there. The exam is closed book. So again, 50 multiple choice questions over 1 through 3, closed book test. You'll have about an hour and a half to take the exam. I've never had a student run out of time, so no worries there. Exam review. Okay, I'm going to read a lot of these to you, but again, hit pause if you want more time. Topic number 1, the transaction processing system cycle includes what cycles? Know those cycles included in the transaction processing system cycle. Effective information has relevance, is complete, and can be summarized. Effective information, relevant, complete, and can be summarized. Good data is relevant, efficient, and accurate. So effective, relevant, complete, and can be summarized. Good, relevant, efficient, and accurate. Accounting information systems versus management information systems. What is the difference? How does the author distinguish between the two? Number 5, useful information is relevant, accurate, and complete. Useful, relevant, accurate, complete. I agree, these are tricky between effective data versus good data versus useful information. That's why I put this review together. Memorize those 3 as laid out here for the exam. Personally, I would like my data to be relevant, efficient, complete, accurate, and have the ability to be summarized. But for the exam, know the difference between those 3. Middle management is responsible for short-term planning and coordination of activities necessary to accomplish organizational objectives. Okay, so if you need more time, hit pause now. 7, the objectives of an information system include support for the stewardship responsibilities of management, support for management decision-making, and support for the firm's day-to-day operations. 8, middle management is responsible for short-term planning and coordination of activities necessary to accomplish organizational objectives. Know the subsystems of an AIS. Include operations management, top management, and line management. Know that the AIS includes transaction processing systems, general ledger financial reporting system, and a management reporting system. Lastly here, know when to use real-time systems versus batch processing. For instance, real-time processing would be most beneficial in handling a firm's AP, AR, and merchandise inventory. 13, a file that stores data used as a standard when processing transactions is a reference file. 14, the characteristics that distinguish between batch and real-time systems include time frame, resources used, and the efficiency of processing. Hopefully here you're starting to see a theme that a lot of exam 1 is definition based. When we started out in week 1, I had, strongly recommended that items in bold, that you know the definitions. Here's why. And these are things that do come up in the real world. So not something that I'm having you memorize just for the sake of memorizing. Real-time systems, batch processing systems, different layers of the system are things that do come up in the real world conversations. Okay. 15. Both the revenue and expenditure cycle can be viewed as having two key parts, financial and physical. 16. Real-time system processing. Know what real-time system processing is. I think that's the third or fourth time that's come up, so it's obviously hit hard in the quit or in the exam. 17 there, I had you flag these pages last week. Data flow diagrams, document flowcharts, system flowcharts, and program flowcharts. Understand the difference between the different types of charts, when to use which type. Hit pause now if you need some more time. I'm going to grab a drink here quick. Okay, factors in the fraud triangle include pressure exerted on an individual at home and job related, and the opportunity to gain access to assets. 19, management's responsible for establishing and maintaining the internal control environment. Management establishes and maintains the internal control environment. A lot of times I'll have people say that the auditors do. No, the auditors verify it's in place, but management's responsible for owning that. 20, limitations of the internal control system include errors made due to employee fatigue, so basically human error. Fraud occurs because of collusion between two employees, and management instructs the bookkeeper to make fraudulent journal entries. So those are ways that basically IT or automated controls can be worked around. So collusion overrides segregation of duties, as does management instructing the bookkeeper to make fraudulent journal entries, that manager probably doesn't have access to, but he's going to round that SOD when instructing others to do it on his behalf or her behalf. 21. Methods used to maintain an audit trail in a computerized environment include transaction logs, transaction listings, and a log of automatic transactions. So number 22 kind of goes along with number 21. Know the components of the computerized environments. 23. The audit trail in a computerized environment traces transactions from their source to their final disposition. They're a function of the quality and integrity of the application programs and may take the form of pointers, indexes, and embedded keys. 24. Know the types of ethics. I've listed those there for you. So know those different types of ethics, know the definition of those different types of ethics, and be able to distinguish between those. For example, the exam might have an example where you have to select the type of ethics involved. 25. Know the concept of reasonable assurance. 26. Know the difference between preventive, detective, and corrective controls. Preventive, detective, corrective. Preventive would be not keeping flammable products together, or using like a non-flammable sheets or the wood, that's supposed to be fire retardant. Detective control would be your smoke detector. Corrective control would be a fire extinguisher. So know the difference between a preventative control, detective control, corrective control. 27. The components of the expenditure cycle include cash disbursements, payroll, and purchase and accounts payable. 28. Know the types of flowcharts and flowcharting symbols. Again, last week I had you flag some pages. A couple of those pages were flowcharting symbols. On the exam, there will be some words like definitions of the symbol, and you have to select the corresponding symbol. Or vice versa. There might be a picture of a symbol, and you have to say what that symbol represents. So go back to those two diagrams or figures that I had you flag in your book and make sure you know those symbols. Okay, we're in the home stretch here. 29. All of the following can provide evidence of an economic event source document, turnaround document, and product document. Okay. So what can provide evidence of an economic event? Source document, turnaround document, and product document. The value of information for users is determined by the reliability, relevance, and completeness. Know the responsibilities of the varying levels of management. There's a page in your book you can refer to there, so know what the different levels of management are responsible for. As you've seen as we go through, a lot of the correct choices in this exam will be middle management. Middle management does a lot, but know what upper management's responsible for as well. And lastly, know the components of a database. All right. Like I said, feel free to listen through a few times, hit pause where you need to. If you have any questions, please let me know. And otherwise, best of luck on the exam.